achieves.
I think you've got a decision to make, really, whether or not you want to be one of these people who is high profile online, because the kind of the basics that you talked about there are all spot on. But in terms of you genuinely kind of emerging from the mass of people doing strategic marketing as an independent consultant online, and you coming out as an authority and getting these links from these other people, will largely speaking be determined by how prolific you are in this content production, which takes time, which you have to invest in. So you've got, I suppose, a decision to make as to how much time you're prepared to invest in this and where you want it to be in 18 months from now, how high profile you want to be. I kind of get the impression from you that you don't necessarily want to be that high profile. I think the web is possibly a hygiene thing for you, and you're going to concentrate on relationships. That's kind of what I'm getting.
That's right. Well, certainly initially, as I've said, then the need is there to have some profile on the web, and then at a later date to develop that further, because primarily my business comes from contacts and referrals. But,
I mean, that's all social media is. We get carried away with what it is. It's actually just some tools that allow you to do some of those activities online, really. I think that's the kind of the basis of it. Alongside that, giving people transparency and the honesty and the feedback systems, and allow a conversation to go on across the site. There may be some opportunities for people to kind of have a discourse, a conversation about strategic marketing, particularly in your field, across your site, using some tools maybe, but something worth exploring. Let's open it up to guys over here. Difficult question number 1, inbound from your good self.
I'm fascinated with the work that you put into the pay-per-click side of the analysis there, Alan. Do you think that that's going to be something that you will actually go with? Obviously, you've looked at some of the figures there. Is that something that you might want to seriously spend some of your budget on, or would you rather perhaps use your money and your budget in a slightly different way? I think
it's really about looking at online and offline together, and if there's a priority, then having in terms of launching the profile, then probably PR would come top of that list. But alongside that, I think clearly there are benefits to getting the site visible and driving some traffic, and from that point of view, I can from the calculations, I can see how it could work, but I do have some reservations about the accuracy of the estimates. So I think ultimately it comes down to saying, well, how much money is any person who embarks on PPC for the first time prepared to spend, and call it a gamble, but a calculated gamble. How much are you prepared to do for that, simply to see what happens, providing you set it up properly?
There are more currencies than money. Time is a currency. You've got a play-off here between, if you want to come through organically and maintain a top position, you're probably going to have to knock content out on a kind of a reasonably regular rate. Either that, or spend some time really coming to terms with SEO and have some classic pages that sit naturally strongly, like Peter's did in certain areas. Either that, or you spend money on the problem like pay-per-click. I think pay-per-click, if nothing else, should be used to throw a burst of traffic at a new website to find out where its problems are, and look carefully at the Google Analytics. In fact, if you've put a linear path in, find out where people are falling out of that process, falling out of the little hopper as you go along. And what you can perhaps do pay-per-click to test a website and improve it, and then for a period of time before it starts to get recognised organically, and then long term you should really be looking at your organic position, because of the rising cost of pay-per-click. But it does a job. At the end of the day, what other marketing method is where you can catch somebody at the point that they're looking, at the point that they're searching for a specific thing? It's an intriguing method. It's almost like a traditional method, but it's intriguing. I
think the critical point is it's not the only tool. We've heard of examples where people have used PPC exclusively, and that's worked for them fine, but that might be a different set of business, and there might be different conditions around that.
Yeah.
I would say that the online, the preference has to be to get the SEO right in the first place, support that with PPC, and then fit those two into whatever other
whatever you're doing.
marketing activity is going on, be it PR or advertising, etc.
I was quite interested in quite a lot of the people who were on our particular course. It's been more about promotion, profile and presence with what we're doing with our sites rather than sales, hard sales. And so looking at all those things, but I think the way that we've covered Web 2 technologies and sort of the theories behind it, the different books that you've shown us, Johnny, and that you've been talking about profile in terms of you as Hunter Marketing and you as Alan Napier, that it becomes a credibility issue being on the web. Sort of, certainly I can see with what your action plan there is exactly where you're going. And sort of how long do you think that action plan is going to take to get into effect?
How long is a piece of string? Largely depends what other how much time I can set aside for this versus other work. But I'd certainly like to make progress on it, and in particular try and get something out there fairly quickly.
I think your priority should be to Twitter 18 hours a day. Just concentrate on that, and everything else will be fine. Really. Perhaps not. Standout moment then, one sort of thing you're taking away that you thought was kind of profound or important, that you're gonna is meaningful to you in your business and where you go from here.
How search engines work.
Right. In terms of organic.
And how to improve on that.
Right.
Because that's something which really I didn't know anything about before and do now. Fantastic.
Yeah. We want, as part of Axis Community, we want to develop a little clique of people who are interested in SEO, and what we want to do is share that practice. Same for PPC, same for organics. We want a little group of people who are kind of really being honest and transparent and open and sharing that good practice. So hopefully you might want to be kind of part of that.
Good.
Fantastic.